Good morning, everyone.
Morning.
I'm sorry? Yeah, ready? Okay. I hereby
I just said good morning.
Oh, thanks, Frank.
Kind of what you normally do when some.
You know, the Zoom protocols get confusing here. I hereby call to order this special meeting of the Board of Education for Wilmette Schools, District 39 for Friday, October 9th, 2020, and the time is 8:31. Will the clerk please call the roll?
Lisa Schneider-Fabes.
Here.
John Cesaretti.
Here.
Frank Panzica.
Here.
Amy Paling.
Here.
Mark Steen. Ellen Sternweiler.
Here.
Aaron Stone.
Here.
Great. We've gathered today to talk about the letter of agreement with the Wilmette Education Association. Dr. Cremascoli.
Thank you. The unusual start to the 2020-2021 school year and necessary changes as related to COVID and the health crisis has necessitated some changes to working conditions for our WEA employees. These are our teachers and other certificated staff members of the district. This letter of agreement is intended to address these needs, and we're really very pleased and honored to present it to the board today for consideration and hopeful approval. Topics addressed in this agreement include practices related to quarantine, sick leave, a COVID sick bank, hybrid and within-person connection, teaching models, paid duty seniority, evaluation, future teacher assignments, provisions of enhanced remote instruction, remote planning days, district-wide full remote teaching and learning, and participation in the metrics review team. So we are we have been in conversations really with the WEA since the end of last school year, but certainly in earnest since early June. And we're really, really happy to be able to present this to the board today. And we think it really well represents a good compromise between all of us and care for everyone involved as we endeavor upon this incredible school reopening and the ongoing support that is necessary for us to continue to do the good work that we're doing amid this pandemic. So we appreciate the board's consideration of this recommendation today.
So we're excited to receive this letter. I know that a lot of work went into it, and once it is agreed upon, it will provide kind of the clarity that many are looking for. So I just want to open it up for discussion. I know that we have been talking about this in executive session, and I don't know if board members would like to ask questions or there's no surprises in here and
Lisa,
what are people thinking? Yeah, right.
I had a agenda question.
Yeah.
On the agenda, after roll call, it says public comments. So do we do those before discussion? Or which is the order?
You could do it either way. You can have discussion before or after. We wanted to make sure that the presentation of the information was done before public comment out of, again, trying to make sure everyone was well informed of what we're discussing. Okay,
just a procedural question.
No, and it's important, Frank. It's important we also learn from our lessons. So.
And public comment will occur before the action. So those are two critical elements that we're really paying close attention to. Thank you, Frank.
Aaron.
I had a comment. So this morning when I was rereading the agreement, I was struck by the language in number 4, which talks about connections being important. And, I was thinking on a micro level, we're talking about hybrid remote students from 5 through 8 and having a daily connection, 1 per period. But I was thinking, on a more macro level, the board, admin, teachers, support staff, parents, the community, like we all want the same thing. We all want the kids to have connections to education and learning and access to all the things that they need to know. And I went to the district website this morning, was looking at our mission statement, and it says that it's to nurture, guide, and challenge students to become creative thinkers, collaborators, and responsible, compassionate, and productive citizens of a global society. And I don't think when that statement was crafted years ago that the global society we see ourselves in now was even contemplated. And I think that achieving this mission is more important now than ever. And I think this agreement helps take care of our staff and take care of our students, like Dr. Cremascoli said, and it helps us achieve that mission.
Thank you, Erin. Others? Dare to follow that beautiful comment?
Not a competition. It's never a competition.
You win.
There's
Frank, go ahead.
I'll bring us into the really mundane then. Just a real small point of clarification on the sick leave item number B. Do we anticipate that number being big enough that we should have a small reserve for it, or it's really just kind of background noise that we're expecting? That an employee earning more than $511 a day will receive the rest from the district. I mean, I'm assuming that that's a small number, but do you have any feel for what that could be, or is it just so far in the background that you're not really focusing on it?
Yeah, so we have looked at the number of employees who would be eligible for that. And for that reason, this was really an important element that we wanted to bring into the agreement out of respect for everyone continuing to be paid as they monitor their sick leave. We don't want anyone disincentivized to not take sick leave. And so we think that this cares well for that. We do have some dollars in the budget, obviously, for all of these various staffing needs.
Okay.
It's really difficult to predict exactly what those dollar amounts might be because it is dependent on those who need sick days and then which category they might fall into. So we are not concerned that this would exceed what we have allocated within our budget.
Yeah, that idea is fine, and I just wanted to get a feel, and it sounds like what I expected, that it's really just in the background.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Other questions or
yeah,
comments?
I had one, and it's indirectly related, I think, to Frank's question. I'm curious because I haven't talked to you guys about this, but how are we doing in recruiting substitutes?
Well, John, that's a great question.
Yeah, sorry.
It's a great question, and we just were talking about it this morning. So I know Heather has that data at her fingertips. So Heather, if I'm putting you on the spot, I apologize. But if you happen to have that data at your fingertips, we'd love to hear how things are going with the recruitment effort for substitutes.
Yes, so we have hired 8 new subs, 3 of which are parents, and they're fully on board and working. We have 11 more in the pipeline, meaning we've interviewed them, so they're in process of checking references, background checks, being onboarded with our training. And of those 11, 9 of them are parents. And I shared this at the metrics team earlier today, but it's been really energizing to talk with our parents who are eager to help us out. It really is like all hands on deck and everybody coming together to support us. And the energy and the enthusiasm for our schools really is selfishly exactly what I like to and need right now to keep us going. It's so representative of our community that I've seen over the years.
That's a terrific update.
Yeah.
Frank, go ahead.
Just the clarification, because the more audiences that see this, the more opportunities. What's the baseline qualifications if somebody's interested in this that they should have before, or they contact you, or what kind of people are you looking for, I guess?
Bachelor's degree. If you have a bachelor's degree, even if you don't have a bachelor's degree, if you have 60 hours, we can still use your help. So there's ways to get you into our schools.
So that's a pretty low bar for our community.
Well,
that's fine. That's great.
Because we provide some on-site training and support as you enter our schools. Plus, once you come into our schools, even if you've had no teaching experience, there are lots of eager people within our schools to support you in that process.
So
and again, there are positions not only for teachers, but for supervisors and secretaries. And, we do benefit from substitutes across all of the job categories that we employ. So good to keep in mind and keep spreading that good word.
Good.
Ellen?
I just want to bring it back to I can't remember, I think, Lisa, you said earlier, I want to echo Heather, when you gave those numbers, I got chills because I think I've been kind of walking around saying lately that what our community has needed the most is to hear things like this that are healing and bringing us back together. And to me, that is the best indicator of a coming back together and rallying cry for our community and our schools is the parent involvement and their enthusiasm to step up and help and be partners in this. I just think that is fantastic. It makes me really, really happy and excited for our community that everyone's willing to help. And the other piece of that is tailing on what Erin said, is what a great example for our children, because it's all about setting examples, and that's what this is about. It's, you know, it's when we're in need, you know, stepping up and doing something about it. So thank you.
Go ahead, Heath. I'm sorry, Dr. Glowacki.
It's okay. I just wanted to add, Katie Lee and I are the ones that have been interviewing our candidates, some of which are not our parents, but honestly, the number of times we've heard, we'll do anything we can to support you and the children in the schools. Like, we leave every session smiling because it's exactly what we're all trying to do. So thank you.
And we could all use some smiles these days.
I
Other
will
questions or thoughts?
I will just add kind of onto that we have received some questions about whether people can substitute for remote positions or in-person positions. Both are available, and so we are eagerly receiving applications to all. Typically, you get approved to be a substitute within our district, and then you have any number of different assignments that you can choose from which you can choose. So whether you are more inclined to be an in-person elementary school teacher or a middle school teacher or a secretary or a remote teacher, all of those positions are needed and beneficial. So please continue to spread that word as well. Thank you.
Okay, that is great. I don't want to be dampen our enthusiasm, but I do want to bring it back to the mission at hand, which is the letter of agreement. Are there more questions about the letter of agreement or comments about the letter of agreement? Okay, so I'm going to move us to public comment, and then just to make sure, I will ask one more time if there's other comments after we hear public comment. So this is an opportunity for the community to address the board. The district has requested that public comments be emailed to publiccomment@wilmette39.org. Tony, have we received any public comments via email?
We have about 7 of them.
Oh, okay.
Okay, the first one is from Tony Sherman. And what he wrote was, "Hi all, I'm sure you guys are flooded with notes. Hopefully this one's a little lighter. I figured it's a good way to show why our kids could really use in-person learning and the inefficiencies of e-learning. At least it's worth a laugh and joy." And he attached a video of his child. It's a humorous video of him e-learning. The next one is from Alicia Romater. "Hi there. I'm so excited to see that the numbers are moving in the right direction to support in-person hybrid learning. I'm also very proud that our students have done such a great job of adapting to the new rules, behaviors required to keep us on track. So far, the year has been going reasonably well for each of my 3 students in the district. In-person days are the highlight of the week at our house, and there have been marked improvement in the e-learning experience as well. I know you all worked tireless hours to make that happen. Thank you. Truly for all you have done and all you're doing to support our students. I can only imagine how challenging this must be. Given how well the numbers look, paired with how important we all know in-person learning to be, I found it very concerning and confusing that we would be reverting course on our hybrid plan, specifically the following statement buried in this week's reopening report without any context. Our 5th through 8th grade hybrid model has reached full implementation at Highcrest and WJHS this week. According to the presentation delivered in late July, the hybrid model was to alternate Monday in person between groups A and B so that each group would have a 5th day of in-person learning every 2-week period. Based on that, we have not reached the full implementation. To my knowledge, there has been no communication addressing this change specifically, and removing 20% of their in-person learning opportunities is a big and frankly disappointing change given all the data points. Can you please provide specific context to what happened to that additional day? Why has it been removed, especially when all the numbers are in such positive place? And what would that be needed to get back on the calendar? Please advise. Michelle Coffey. I have no idea what the WEA is asking for in this letter of agreement. It would be helpful for parents to know what decisions are being made regarding our children's education. I'm hoping that the agreement has to do with updates to their contract for personnel issues due to COVID, such as sick days and quarantining, etc. But nonetheless, I'm writing to share again my thoughts on the need for our children to stay in school and to be in school as much as possible. The metrics committee continues to share positive information regarding our community and COVID. We are doing our part for the threat of fully remote should be gone unless Governor Pritzker moves Illinois back to phase 3. The teachers union should not have the power to determine how the school year continues. Again, I'm hopeful that the teachers feel more comfortable being back in school and how well it can work. I know my daughters are ecstatic to be back at Mackenzie. My oldest daughter appreciates the time she gets to be at Wilmette Junior High, wishing it could be more. Please continue to think of what parents of this district want for our children as well as what the teachers want for themselves. It just can't be all or nothing. Thank you. This is sent by Maya, no last name. Dear board members and Dr. Kremascoli, while the public was put on notice of this special meeting regarding the WEA letter of agreement, the details regarding this agreement that pertain to the COVID-related changes have not been made public. It is concerning because parents and your constituents should also know what agreements the WEA has reached with the district and how it will impact our children and community. To the extent this agreement may impact the delivery of instruction to our children in any way, this should be communicated to the parents, and the parents should be able to voice their concerns and opinions as well. I reiterate the need for maximizing in-person instruction in grades 5 through 8. The remote days are light on learning, and our children do not receive appropriate quality instruction. The in-person days have also been beneficial to the children's mental health, as evidenced by their overall improvement in mood and better performance in the school. The weekly metrics have been favorable and support increase in in-person learning, at least on Mondays. Several board members supported in-person Mondays at the last general meeting, and I urge the board members to enforce your initial plan regarding in-person Mondays. COVID will be here for a while, and we cannot continue with such inadequate schooling for the remainder of the school year and beyond. Thank you. From Noah Rothschild. The last 2 weeks have been delightful as our 5-year-old and 7-year-old have resumed going to school in person. Everyone is happier and the kids are loving school, and the protocols seem to keep kids and staff safe. Let's keep up the status quo and keep our little ones at the school that they love. Mary Fertini. Please do not side with the WEA to go fully remote now when the numbers do not justify such a drastic move at this time. You have all the data and are doing things right. The kids are thriving in person. There's no need to do this right now. The WEA has been blasting the recent Tribune article to spread fear. The numbers are on track. Keep our children in school. Christine Quinn. Hello. First and foremost, thank you to everyone who has made in-person learning possible. I'm writing to urge you to not only keep in-person learning, but to add days. My daughter is in 7th grade at WJHS and is now back in school 2 days. I have noticed a major improvement in her morale and motivation for school since being back in person. I'm so appreciative of all the teachers, administrators, and staff who are making in-person learning possible. It is critical to her and other kids' social, emotional, and intellectual health to be back in school. Best. Last one, Elizabeth Rosenfeld. Dear Dr. Glowacki, thank you for allowing this timely follow-up to last week's remote parent webinar. For those that did not attend, or as a reminder, that session October 1 began with an assertion that remote learning was designed by our district in June and that these large standard class sizes are workable for fully remote learners. Yet, every indication here is that teachers were not given enough time or training necessary to meet teaching objectives of remote learning, and that fully remote class size is very problematic unless there are remote teaching teams. Parents on that webinar were appalled that our remote teachers do not have any option for days off or substitutes, and that a call for parents to substitute was only about in-person substitutes. Our remote teachers work twice the hours grading the larger classes. There have been odd appearances of a principal or reading specialist to administer an Ames web test or spelling test, but there has never been another adult helping or teaming with the teacher for these 6 challenging weeks. It's time, it's long overdue to provide human support, and a lot more learning engagement can occur when 2 teachers can facilitate breakout rooms. Also on that broadcast, Dr. Katie Lee explained that you had so much data from the spring learning and could easily choose industry-leading platforms for online learning. She boasted a platform called ScoopPad for adaptive learning, but it's called by another name, saying it was so good that it has been purchased or something to that effect. By way of update, on October 7th, when my daughter's class began to use ScoopPad, it was clear that it is simply not appropriate for an iPad. The administration is wrong to tell parents that this is a great platform when it cannot be effectively utilized on the device issued by the district. Do better and consider the emotional user experience of a 6-year-old when you make large and reckless technology decisions during a pandemic. You already pared down the curriculum so greatly, and now this asynchronous tool is a poor learning experience. The district has a lot of latency issues to rework, and I call on you to do better in supporting remote teachers, students, and families without further delay or polling. That was the last one.
Okay, thank you very much. I need a motion to approve the letter of agreement with the Wilmette Education Association.
You mentioned there might be the chance for one more round of discussion.
There is. So we're going to make a motion,
Oh, gotcha.
second it,
Okay.
and then I'm going to call for discussion. Thanks, Frank.
Okay. All right. I move to approve the attached Wilmette Education Association WEA letter of agreement.
May I have a second?
Second.
Is there any additional discussion? Frank?
I just had a real quick item that I wanted to bring up. We've come to expect that the administration has been working extremely long hours, but I wanted to particularly point out that with the rare but occasional instances where a student or staff has hit COVID, that they've been doing even more, that, you know, nights and weekends, phone calls to bureaucrats is, I think, even above and beyond what we've come to expect. And I just wanted to thank them for that extra time and useful effort that helps to get the information as quickly as possible.
Thanks, Frank. Others? I would just like to request that the district, by the end of next week, kind of post the letter of agreement on the website for the community to have access to the details. Okay, seeing no further discussion, the motion has been made and seconded. Will the clerk please call the roll?
John Caesarretti,
Yes.
Frank Panzica,
Yes.
Amy Paling,
Yes.
Ellen Sternweiler,
Yes.
Sharon Stone,
Yes.
Lisa Schneider-Fabes.
Yes. Great. The yeas have it. The motion carries. And this concludes our agenda. I seek a motion to adjourn this special meeting of the District 39 Board of Education.
I move to adjourn the special meeting of the Board of Education Friday, October 9th.
May I have a second?
Second.
I'll give that to Aaron. Motion having been made and seconded, would the clerk please call the roll?
John Cesaretti,
Yes.
Frank Panzica,
Yes.
Amy Paling,
Yes.
Ellen Sternweiler,
Yes.
Aaron Stone,
Yes.
Lisa Schneider-Fabes.
Yes. Motion carries by unanimous roll call vote, and the time is 8:56. Thank you, everyone. Have a good rest of your day.
Have a
Thank
good
you.
day.
Take
Thank
care.
you.
Great work.
Bye.